Done. Welcome back. Yes. Today we'll discuss section number 42. Okay. We are in the last section of prospectus chapter. It is chapter number 3 of Companies Act 2013, and I am now discussing section number 42. Section number 42. It talks about private placement. Okay. It is an important section. Okay, around 4 to 5 marks may come from this particular section. It is an important section from the chapter called prospectus. Okay, then it is chapter number 3. Now let us now start with this private placement. We all know, okay, companies are divided into two types. Either it can be private company or it can be public company. Okay, private, public. And we know in private company the maximum number of members, it is only 200. So but in case of public company, maximum number of members will be unlimited. It is infinite. Okay, unlimited. Any number of members may be there in public company. Okay, so now you tell me, when the offer is given by the public company, okay, when the offer is given by public company, anyone can purchase. This is called as public offer. Okay, now can I write like this? Okay, I am talking about public company. Whatever the offer it is given by the public company, it is called as public offer, where general public can purchase the shares. Public offer. Okay, now in any case, can a public company issue private placement? What is private placement? Private placement is nothing but shares are now offered to, securities are now offered to, not to the general public. It is offered only to identified persons, only to few identified persons. It is not to general public, it is only for identified persons. Okay, there will be only few persons, okay, who are now eligible to subscribe the securities of the company. So it is called as public company offering securities through private placement to only few persons, called as identified persons. Okay, these identified persons, these persons are identified by whom? These persons are identified by board of directors. Now there is a public company. In that, board of directors have selected few people. To that few people only, when the company is, okay, is offering the securities, then that placement is called as, that offer is called as private placement. It is not public offer. When there is public offer, then prospectus provisions are applicable. But now as this is private placement, no general public is involved, prospectus provisions are not applicable. There is a different process for this. Okay, like how we advertise for prospectus, in the similar way we cannot advertise this private placement, because it is for only few people. If it is for public, advertise it. But if it is only for identified persons, then there is no applicability of prospectus provisions here in this case, and there is a separate provisions we need to look into, and it is covered under section number 42 along with rule number 14 of, okay, these rules. Okay, rule number 14 which are applicable for this, okay, private placement. I guess you are all getting the point very, very clear. Okay, done. With this basic introduction, I just want to jump into this section. I just want to keep this section as simple as possible. I will try to wind up the session within 20 minutes. Okay, done. Let us go to section number 42 in the material. So this notes is very important notes. Okay, it is very, very helpful when you go for the examination. So around 60 to 70 pages are there, in which almost, okay, all the sections are covered from Companies Act 2013. Okay, there are many students who got more than 50. In fact, last batch, one of my last batch students, okay, she got 72 after reading this book. Okay, this is a book which is very, very helpful for you before going to examination. Done. So section number 42, private placement. Okay, it is private placement. It is the offer or invitation to subscribe. Just a minute. Okay, done. What is private placement? Private placement, it is an offer or invitation to subscribe. The company is giving the invitation to subscribe or issue of securities to only selected group of persons by the company. Selected group of persons. These people are called as identified persons. Identified persons. Who identifies these persons? So these persons are identified by whom? Board of directors. Okay. When normally if a company invites the public to subscribe the securities, company needs to issue prospectus. In return, the public will keep the application, right? Public will keep application. In the similar way, there we call it as application, but here we call it as private placement offer cum application. Private placement offer cum application. So it is given by the company to the company to selected persons, and selected person, they need to fill up the application and they need to submit back to company, so that after getting the money, after getting the application along with the application money, then they need to allot the same. Okay, the company needs to allot the same. So step number 1, can you say the step number 1? Step number 1, what? Company needs to issue to identified persons. Okay, what is that? Private placement offer cum application. Now this application will be filled up by whom? Identified persons. This is step number 1. This is step number 2. Identified persons, they need to make an application for the company. This application shall be filled and it shall be submitted to the company. And now the company needs to, in the third step, the company needs to allot the same. Here the application money is paid, and in the third step, company needs to allot the same. Allot to identified persons. This is the sequence they need to follow. Okay, now let us jump into the material. So what are the conditions for issuance of this particular private placement? Now identified persons. Who are the identified persons? Those are the people who are identified by board of directors, but to be calling it as to call that as private placement offer. Okay, the identified persons must not exceed 200 in a financial year. 200 in a financial year. So the maximum number of persons, identified persons, for the purpose of section number 42, it is only 200. Then only you can call it as private placement. Okay, if not, if the number is more than 200, it will be called as public offer only. Once it is public offer, remaining provisions of prospectus is now applicable. The advertisement and all, it is applicable. Okay, now you tell me, what is the maximum number of members for the purpose of private placement? It is only 200, that too in a financial year. Every year 200 shall be taken. Now let me ask you one question where you need to try to answer the same. Is the private placement offer can be given by private company, or it is only applicable for public company? So my answer for this is, private placement can be made by both public company and private company. But when a private company is identifying 200 or more persons, or in fact more than 200 persons, then obviously when there are shareholders holding shares of a private company which are more than 200, then obviously it will be called as public company only, because as per private company definition, the maximum number of members would be only 200. So what I want to let you know is, this section 42 is applicable for private company and public company. It can be a private company, it can be a public company. Public company, they can issue private placement, 200 in a financial year. So in the next year, again 200. But in this case, if previously 200 is already over, then second time private company, if they issue for another 200, the total number of members become how many? It is 400. Then it is eligible to be qualified as private company definition. Then it shall be called as public company only. So what I just want to let you know is, this section is applicable for private company and public company. However, for a private company, the maximum number of members shall be only 200. So generally I talk here about only public company. Now you tell me, for a public company, is the private placement offer applicable? Yes. Private placement offer, it is applicable. How many number of identified persons shall be there? Maximum it shall be 200. In how many years? It is for one financial year. So again in the next year you can have another 200. And one beautiful point is, this 200 members, it shall be considered separately for Equity shares, it is considered separately for preference shares, debentures, etc. Okay, for each type of security, this 200 shall be there in a financial year. So, okay, you need to understand one thing, that for equity shareholders it will be 200, for preference shareholders it will be 200, for debentures it will be 200. Private placement in an aggregate, there can be 600 also in a financial year, still it will be called as private placement offer only. When equity shares are issued to more than 200, that is considered 201, okay, then this is not a private placement offer, then okay, it is called as public offer. Then all the provisions of prospectus is now applicable for that public offer. So it is not 42 now, it is 23 to 40. Okay, 23 to 40 we need to look into. Okay, I guess you are all getting the point very clear. Let me jump to, okay, the conditions. Okay, private placements shall not be made in a financial year to not more than 200. So maximum it is 200. Okay, and while counting this 200, you shall not count this qualified institutional buyers. Those are the big institutional buyers. Say for example, okay, it will be mutual fund, it will be banks, etc. Okay, it is defined under SEBI. Now qualified institutional buyers, they shall not be counted in the 200, in counting 200. And along with that, okay, there are some employees who became the shareholders. Just a minute. Okay, there are some employees who became the shareholders, okay, by virtue of holding shares, okay, through employee stock option scheme, ESOP. As per ESOP, they are holding some shares. As per section number 62, they are holding some shares. Okay, and because of that holding, they became shareholders. Then they shall not be counted, okay, in 200. So there are two exceptions for counting 200. QIB, they shall not be counted. Along with that, an employee who became a shareholder because of ESOP scheme. So these two persons shall not be counted while counting 200. I guess you are all getting the point clear. Okay, and you all know the restriction on maximum number, that is what, 200, to whom private placement can be made without B, okay, would be reckoned individually for each kind of securities. And you know that for equity shares it is 200, for preference shares it is 200, for debentures it is 200. And the next one is, if company makes offer or allotment to more than 200, it is deemed as public offer. That also we know. Okay, done. And this 200 limit, the maximum number of identified persons limit, is not applicable for two persons. Okay, it is not applicable for NBFC, it is not applicable for housing finance companies, because they are regulated by RBI. Okay, they are regulated by National Housing Bank Act 1987. Those regulations, if they say something else, if they say more than 200, then they need to follow that number which is prescribed by RBI or National Housing Bank Act 1987. So this 200 maximum limit is not applicable for 2% NBFC and housing finance companies, because they are regulated by, okay, they are regulated by RBI and National Housing Bank Act 1987. I guess you are all getting the point clear. Okay, once these identified persons make the application by paying application money, then they need to be allotted with the shares or right or not. Okay, so they need to be allotted with shares. Okay, so before allotment, and we all know, okay, as per section number 39, okay, application money shall be paid. Without application money, okay, those persons paying application money, can they be allotted? No. So first point is, application money shall be paid. Who pays this application money? Identified persons. Okay, so when they pay the application money, this application money shall be paid through banking channels only, but and not by way of cash. This is there here. Identified persons shall apply for the securities through private placement offer cum application issued to such person by the company. He shall pay money through banking channels and not by cash. We know that. Okay, and once the application money is received by the company, and the company is now required to allot the securities within 60 days. Okay, within 60 days. If the company fails to allot within 60 days, then after 60 days, within 15 days, they need to refund all the monies. To the identified persons, because they failed to allot the securities. Okay, now I guess you are all getting the point. So after the application money is received, okay, within 60 days, company needs to allot to whom? Company needs to allot to identified persons. If not, then within 15 days, okay, this is for allotment. Okay, this 15 days is for what? Refund. If the company fails to refund within 15 days after the expiry of 60 days, then they need to pay the interest. See, they need to pay the interest, okay, of 12%. Here we can write it is 12%, okay, from the expiry of, see, interest at the rate of 12% from the expiry of 60 days, that is 61st day. This 12% will be applicable from 61st day, not from 75th day. I guess you are all getting the point clear. Okay, done. Let me go to next point also. Okay, one beautiful point. Even there is a question given in the ICA study material backside questions also. Okay, I guess it is 6th question or 5th question. You can just read. Okay, where first, if there is, say, imagine total identified persons, it is, okay, 200. It shall not cross 200. Maximum it is 200 only. Okay, for the first time they offered to 50 people. Okay, now this is called first offer. In that financial year, first offer they have given to 50 people. Now my question is, can the second offer be given to another 50? Yes, answer is yes. However, this second offer is valid. The company can offer this second time, okay, only when the first offer is been closed. When the first offer is still pending, the second offer shall not be issued. Okay, it is not called as private placement. To be called as private placement, the first offer shall be closed. Okay, or they must have completed this first offer, or they can cancel this first offer. Once this is not there in existence, then only second, okay, offer may be, okay, in existence. I guess you are all getting the point. Okay, next point. See, the company shall not make any fresh offer under this section if the earlier offer is still pending. Next point. The company can issue securities to existing class of identified persons, but on the condition that maximum number of, okay, the number of identified persons shall not exceed 200. Now, here is my question for you, where you need to, okay, if you know the answer, you can just comment, okay, below this video. Okay, now my question is, for the first time, okay, identified persons, okay, 50 identified persons, we offered to 50 identified persons. Now you tell me, for the second time, again, in the second offer, again, if the shares are offered to the same 50 members, these identified persons are only given with the second offer. Now you tell me, will these 50 members be counted again as 50 while counting 200? Okay, this is my question. Or you can take this question, okay, like this. For the first time they identified 100 members. Okay, for the first time they identified 100 members. For the second time again, okay, to them only we issued the second offer. It is 100. Okay, now will the identified persons count be 200 or is it only 100? The same person be counted as the second person again, or he will not be counted? Now you tell me this answer below this comment. Below this you can just comment the same. If you know the answer, you can comment the same. Okay, done. So later I will be posting that under the comment section. Okay, you can just follow the video. Okay, done. So my question is, when the offer is given to the same identified person in a financial year second time, will he be counted twice, or is it only one time we need to count him? Okay, that is the question. Done. Company shall not release any public advertisement because it is not a prospectus. Okay, done. The company, after allotment, within 60 days it needs to allot, right? So after allotment it needs to file return of allotment to ROC, okay, stating the names of the allottees, okay, the addresses of the allottees, etc. Okay, how many shares they have been allotted with, everything, every detail we need to write, and we need to file with ROC within 15 days of allotment. Okay, done. Next point. If there is any default in filing the return of allotment, then the, okay, penalty would be, okay, on promoter and directors the penalty would be 1000 rupees for each day of default, okay, not exceeding 25 lakhs. and company shall not, and beautiful point is, okay, company after getting the application money, can it use the application money? Okay, it can use the application money only when the allotment is made, and okay, after allotment, the return of allotment shall also be filed with ROC. If these two conditions are satisfied, then obviously what? Okay, company can use the money. Okay, done. Next point, default under this section. Okay, if 42 section is not complied by the company, then company, promoters, directors are, okay, penalized up to the amount raised, or 2 crore rupees, whichever is lower. You can just remember this. Okay, and along with that, along with this penalty, and whatever the money you raised from, okay, identified persons, that shall be refunded, and okay, interest shall also be paid at the rate of 12%. Okay, now we will go to some rules of this section 42. Okay, rule number 14, where we need to try to understand few things. So for a company, if they want to go for private placement offer, then the first requirement is special resolution of members shall be passed. 100% special resolution must be there, and along with that, board resolution shall be there. Must be there. Okay, now you tell me, okay, without passing SR, can you go for section number 42? Answer is no. However, there is one exception. That one exception is in case of issue of non-convertible debentures. Okay, they are exclusive debentures. In future, they are not going to be converted into equity shares. They are non-convertible debentures. Okay, for them, this special resolution is not required. For them, only board's resolution is required. And this is applicable only when the amount you are going to raise through non-convertible debentures, if it is less than or equal to section number 180, okay, subsection number 1, clause number C. Okay, there is a limit which is given in section number, there is a monetary limit which is given in section number 180, subsection number 1, clause C. Okay, that is what? Okay, paid up capital plus free reserves, okay, plus securities premium. If you are going to raise the money through NCD, okay, and if it is not exceeding PUC plus FR plus SP of the company, securities premium of the company, then special resolution is not required, only board's resolution is required. Okay, however, if the NCD, is more than 180 subsection number 1, clause number C, okay, if it is crossing 80 subsection number 1, clause C, okay, then special resolution is required, but every time whenever the offer is made, because in a financial year many times offer can be given. So every time when you offer, special resolution is not required. For the first time it is required, and it is valid for 1 year, 1 financial year. So you can pass special resolution once in a year, and in that year how many times you want to just issue, okay, NCD, you can just issue. But other than NCD, okay, special resolution is mandatory, board resolution is mandatory. How many times you issue, okay, that particular offer in a particular year, okay, every time the offer is made, you need to pass the special resolution, and all these resolutions shall be filed with whom? ROC. The resolution shall also be filed with whom? ROC. I guess you are all getting the point. Let me have, okay, some small chart for this. Okay, now resolutions, I'm now talking about resolutions. Okay, it is special resolution, it is board resolution. Special resolution, board resolution. Board resolution is mandatory for every time. Okay, board resolution is mandatory every time. But special resolution, it is mandatory. This is mandatory for everything. Board resolution is mandatory. However, special resolution is mandatory only in few cases. Okay, first one, all securities other than NCD, all securities other than NCD. What is applicable? Special resolution is applicable. SR is applicable for every offer. In a financial year. So in a financial year, how many times you can go? You can offer as many times as possible, but the maximum number shall not exceed 200. Okay. See, special resolution for every offer, it is mandatory. Special resolution for every offer, it is mandatory. However, if it is for NCD, okay, board resolution anyway it is mandatory, but special resolution, okay, it is applicable sometimes, it is not applicable sometimes. When is it applicable? Okay, see, when it exceeds See, special resolution exceeds, it is only applicable when NCD amount, see, NCD amount is more than what? Is exceeding 180 subsection number 1 clause number C. What is that? FR, free reserves plus PUC plus paid up capital plus free reserves plus securities premium. When it is less than or equal to 180, okay, NCD is less than or equal to 180 subsection 1 clause number C, special resolution is not required, board resolution is sufficient. Okay, board resolution in any case it is mandatory, but special resolution, this is the chart you need to take. Okay, and all these things shall be filed with ROC. Okay, these are the forms you need to just remember. You can just have a look into it. Okay, with this I just want to wind up this session. There is one question given to you in this video. You can just comment below. You can talk to your faculty whenever you listen to me in the on YouTube. Okay, if you have this question in your mind, you can just talk to your faculty or other persons or friends, etc. If you get the answer, you can just comment below. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.